Good afternoon, Year 8. My name is Miss Hollis, and today we will be going through your assessment task notification for AT2. This will be our formal assessment for our Spanish Conquest unit. The first thing I'd like you to pay attention to is the due date for this task, which will be week 7 of term 2. Now, what this looks like for your class will depend on your timetable. So I'm going to take the chance now to get you to pause this video, and your teacher can tell you what date and period you will be submitting this task. And then you can jot that down in your learning planner. So just a reminder, if you need to access this notification again, that it will be available on your History Canvas homepage under the Assessment Task Notifications tab. That's the black tab in the middle of your homepage. Now moving on to the task details. So this will be a submission task, and you will be imagining that you are an Indigenous person experiencing the arrival of Christopher Columbus firsthand. You will be composing a diary entry detailing the events of the day, including how you feel about them. So remembering that our Indigenous people are our Aztec and our Incan people. When you're writing this diary entry, you want to be making sure that you're including features such as your name and where you live. This is a great opportunity to put some research into this and make sure that it would be an accurate name, an accurate place for this time period. Similarly, if you're saying what you ate, for example, for breakfast that morning, you would be making sure that it is accurate for that time period and for that place. So you'll be looking, what are they eating in Aztec society during this time? You'll also be including activities that you would have completed that morning. So, for example, any work that you may have had to have done, any responsibilities you might have had within your home, religious rituals, for example. And again, we're making sure that this is accurate for the time. We're making sure that we're putting our research into this. You're going to say what you saw when Christopher Columbus arrived. So what did it actually look like when these events were unfolding? What were the reactions of people around you? What was the scene like? You want to make this part as detailed as possible. And you want to make sure that you're really including how you were feeling when you were seeing all of this taking place. What was your reaction? What were the thoughts going on in your head? And then after this, I want you to reflect on these events and maybe include any questions you might have had about what has happened, any feelings you're having, any concerns you might be having now that this has happened. Now, your response is to be 600 to 750 words in length, and a scaffold has been attached to this notification to help you structure your response. I'm going to get you to pause this video now, and you can ask your teacher any questions that you might have about the instructions of this task. So we'll now be moving on to the submission instructions for this task. This assignment is to be submitted both digitally and it is to be printed. So the doc can be submitted digitally on your class Canvas page using the assignment submission tab. That is going to be in the left side column of your Canvas page. And if you click onto this, there will be a drop box titled Upload Documents. So this is where your assignment is to be submitted before the end of the lesson on submission day. Your teacher will be able to give you further instructions on this if you can't find the Dropbox or if you are unsure how to submit that. A printed copy must also be provided to your teacher. Now, if you do not have a printer at home, you can use the printer available in the library, and there will be staff who can help you use that if you're not sure how to use that. You may also email your task to your teacher for them to print it if you are unsure of how to use that printer, but this needs to be done at least 3 days prior to the submission date. So if you are sending your task after this 3-day period, So within 3 days of the submission date, it will not be printed by your teacher. It's also important to note that there will be no printing during the submission lesson. So we will not be leaving class during the submission lesson to print in the library. It needs to be printed before the lesson. Any student who does not submit their assignment by the submission date will receive a phone call home made by your classroom teacher and a Thursday morning reflection. This will also be logged on Compass. Finally, we're going to briefly go through your scaffold for the task. So this is available for you to use, and it is attached to our notification. And it is a scaffold that helped you break down what you might put in each section of your diary entry so that it is following that teal structure. Now, on our left-hand column, we have a list of question prompts that you might want to consider while you're writing each part of your diary entry. In the right column, it has a space for you to write and for you to answer these questions. Remember, we don't want to be writing in bullet points. We want this to be a complete response. So that also means we're not going to be submitting this filled out scaffold as our assignment, but we are going to take the information we've written in each box and we are going to paste it into a complete response on your Google document. So we'll not be submitting it just as a scaffold. We want to have a nice cohesive full response in our submission. Before we get into our marking criteria, I'm going to take this chance for you to pause again and ask your teacher any additional questions you may have about your scaffold or about the submission instructions.